Now, if she's out, will this prevent them from pressing her to tell them the truth? Well, let's ask our legal panel, Paul Callan and Joanna Greenwald. Thank you both for coming on. Paul, I mean, there's no pressure now. I mean, if she's out, regardless of whether she has a bracelet on her ankle, thank you, or not, is not going to do any good because she's not going to feel the pressure, so she's not going to talk.
Yeah, this is a terrible situation for the prosecution. The one bit of leverage they have is, as long as she's in jail, they can hold out the prospect of her freedom to try to trade for information. And now this, this bail bondsman comes into the picture to bail her out for publicity purposes, and they're losing that leverage. So I think it's a really bad thing for the prosecution.
What about that, Joanna? I mean, pretrial incarceration does wear people down. If she knew where her daughter was, she'd say so, for goodness sake. So she's not going to say so even if she gets out of jail.
What impetus does she have at this point? She's been sitting there in jail the whole time. There's nothing right now that would make her want to say anything. Jail itself would have made her want to do that. So her being out, I don't think
you're wrong about that.
Well, what about the judge? I mean, he had a bargaining tool, and that was the bail, and they asked him to lower it. They didn't. They don't have to. The judge can do whatever he wants. But had he said, okay, you cooperate with us, and we'll get your bail down to whatever. They can't. The judge can't.
No, a judge is not allowed to do that legally. Now, judges do this all the time, sort of on the side, without admitting why they're doing it.
With the prosecution, they want answers. They don't want to drag this out.
But here's why they can't do that from a legal standpoint. They don't work for the prosecution. They're supposed to be an independent referee, not leaning toward one side or the other. And you can't force somebody to give up your Fifth Amendment right to remain silent. And certainly a judge is not allowed to force a defendant into that. So as sympathetic as this case is, it's just not legal to do that.
Is there anything the judge can do about it? I mean, does the judge have the ability to say, I'm not going to let an unrelated person from California post the bond here for the bail?
No, I don't agree with that. I think that if somebody... And what I've been watching is that this has been on the news for quite some time. No person of good faith to say, hey, let me get her out so she could help find her child, because that's what the grandma has been saying. So the judge is not going to say anything. She's going to get out, and they don't have anything on her. So they're going to be looking with this fishnet as a defense attorney. They don't have anything on her.
My question is this even ethical? I mean, first of all, this bounty hunter, he is able to come into Florida, even though he's from California, in order to get her out. But I mean, it's clear why he's doing this. He's doing this because he wants to be the next Dog Chapman.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter.
Well, the word ethics and bounty hunters are rarely found together on the same page.
But they're usually busting and taking people in. They're not normally letting them out. I mean,
there's a $250,000 reward, though.
Come on,
don't forget that.
This is a sleazeball move for publicity, and that's all he's doing it for, is to get publicity for his own bail bondsman operation. Sleazy move. If the prosecutors wanted to let her out because they thought it would help the case, maybe they want to follow her, they would do it. They don't want to do it. So I don't know where this bail bondsman gets off saying, I'm going to come in and help solve the case.
Because I think he wants to rescue the world.
How about this, Paul? You were a prosecutor for many, many years here in New York. How about making a new application to increase the bail?
Oh, well, prosecutors certainly can do that with the judge, and I will tell you that many judges would entertain that application. But we don't. But we don't know what's going to happen.
Why not?
It definitely won't, because she has certain charges at this time, a felony misdemeanor, with the appropriate bail that's been set. They don't have anything more. As far as all of us sitting here,
we don't know that. They might have more.
But
they could file additional charges.
But they
the judge could then elevate the bail.
That's true, but they don't have anything to hang their hat on at this moment. They don't have any results. They don't.
Joanna's absolutely right. They would have to have something else to put on the table in front of the judge. But usually prosecutors can come up with something to give a judge an excuse to increase the bail.
She's not running free, though. She's going to be sitting at home with an ankle bracelet on. Either way, though. Certainly better than jail, that's for sure.
And she'll be sitting there.
Joanna Greenwald, thank you very much, and Paul Callan, great to have you both on. He's America's man with the golden touch in Beijing. Michael Phelps edges past the competition to win his 7th gold medal and tie Mark Spitz's record, but the second-place finisher wasn't having any of it. Why he appealed the results. Next.